Hi everybody, this is a news broadcast of Henan, China. I was on a half-an-hour news broadcast with Dr. Zhao, working in his clinic, so I'll be narrating. Here they're introducing me. They're so complimentary, saying the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl from the States is here studying with Dr. Zhao, and then I'm here to study Chinese medicine. They thought this was quite an anomaly and fascinating. These are just some snippets of some of the documentary to come. Oh, in my dancing, they got such a kick out of that I love to dance every day, and there's a clip of it later in the documentary. So this is our announcer, and he is quite animated, and I haven't met him in person, but he does a great job and is really excited about introducing me. And here, he's doing a piece where he's first comparing this famous Canadian in China. His name is Dashan, and he's lived in China for about 20 years. I'll let you listen to his accent. He's very famous because his Chinese is even better than some Chinese's Chinese. And so they're comparing him, saying, you know, here's this foreigner who speaks Chinese and is so famous, and his Chinese is just great. And then later he's going to be saying, so today are we going to be talking about Dashan? No, we're going to be talking about this blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman from Seattle. So that's coming up in just a moment here. That's he's saying it here. So we're going to talk about him? No, we're talking about this woman who also loves China and loves Chinese. And here we're coming into Dr. Zhao's clinic in Henan province, and you can see all the flags on the wall here. They're called Jinqi, and they are given to him by patients that have been healed from a major illness, and it's an incredible honor. It's over 60 of them hanging in his clinic. And this is a clinic he's had for over 40 years. Again, they're being very complimentary, saying, oh, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman from Seattle. It's quite an anomaly. Even though, you know, I was in Zhengzhou, which is it's the capital of Henan province. I was in a part of the city that used to be a village, and now as the city has expanded, it's part of the city, and so there really weren't many foreigners at all around where I was. I just said Seattle, saying Seattle. And I'm demonstrating some of the techniques that I've learned with Dr. Zhao. He's a master acupuncturist and herbalist. And he's a self-made master. He decided at 17 to become a doctor and to study with his grandfather, who's a very famous Chinese doctor and well-known all throughout China. And now Dr. Zhao, following in his legacy, is also well-known throughout the country and has patients come to see him from throughout China. So here they're being very complimentary about my Chinese and saying, oh, where did she learn her Chinese? But they're saying, oh, well, we'll talk about that later. And now they're talking that I came to study with Dr. Zhao for 42 days. And they're here again, they're looking at my hands, my knuckles, because Dr. Zhao has these calluses developed on his knuckles from all of his 40 plus years of treatment, and they're saying, oh, she also has them on her hands. Which, not quite. And here they're showing how Dr. Zhao's had me write out some of the prescriptions, and how my handwriting is much different than his, but it's the way he's been testing me on my characters and my learning of the herbs. And I'm explaining how it's just so awesome to learn in this apprenticeship style, where I'm learning sitting beside him with the patients, and then here I also work in the clinic in the herbal dispensary area, Zhuayao, which is the measuring the herbs, and it looks simple and it takes a lot of concentration and grace to work that, and then also wrap up all of these herbs. It's amazing how many herbs we put on these little small pieces of paper and have to package them up neatly. And they're asking me, oh, when I came, did I know how to tie up these packages? And I was like, no. Now I can do it slowly. Just an example, like my first day and the second day in the clinic, we probably wrapped about 100 bags of herbs that day, and I think I did 3. That's my contribution. So now they're talking about learning pulses, and Dr. Zhao taught me some of the basics of pulse reading. I don't yet do diagnosis, but he has shown me different pulses, and then also here he's talking about there is one woman who came in who was pregnant, and Dr. Zhao came over and had me feel her pulse, and how amazing it is that you can actually feel. It's a different type of pulse, and he's describing it how I learned it. It's like water flowing over smooth pearls. And this is a little test. Dr. Zhao just showed me some things to look at when reading a palm, and now he said, okay, read her palm. This is a reporter's palm. So I'm looking at her palm, and then I'm seeing that it looks like she has some neck and shoulder pain, and so this is my little test. And Dr. Zhao saying, oh, there's one question you didn't ask. I'm like, oops. And I didn't, so then I'm asking her, oh, yes, how's your mood been, and your emotions lately? So these reporters, they wanted to see everything about my life, and one thing I love to do is I love to dance. And so I said, well, I dance in my room every night, and they're like, oh, well, we want to come see. And here they're coming into my apartment, and I'm saying, oops, I didn't know, I haven't cleaned up my room yet. I had this beautiful hotel room to stay in that Dr. Zhao found for me. And here I'm playing some Indian music. This is one of the songs I like to dance to each afternoon. It's just my little computer with the tiny speakers, but I played it for them. And here the announcer, he's saying, wow, it's not even any specific dance steps. She just dances every day. And they say that a few times in this report, and they think it's quite amazing that I would just dance without having any specific dance steps to dance to. So I've asked them if they wanted to dance with me, but they declined. I love to dance. After being in the clinic all day, I dance every day. Oh, look at that! Snapshot. So they're asking, is everyone in my family like me? Does everyone also like to dance like me? Like, oh, it's something I like to do, and this is just the way I am. I like to dance every day. So they're saying, she's definitely a foreign woman. Look at how liberated she is. She wants to sing, she sings. If she wants to dance, she dances. And again, it's no specific dance moves. She just dances. Talking about me, I also teach and study Qigong, and they thought that was a blast. They just love how my genuine and sincere interest in Chinese language and Chinese culture and in the medicine. Now I'm showing them that when I was in China, I wrote a blog, and I wrote really long pieces about my experiences and sent it out 2 to 3 times a week to about 500 people while I was there. And I shared about everything, all I was learning and all the really funny stories, and this is what I'm explaining to her, who I'm sending this to, what I'm writing about. they couldn't read it, but they wanted to see some of the letters. And here they're reading from an excerpt. There was a newspaper that came and interviewed me, and they wrote a sample diary of an excerpt of my blog, which was simplified. Now they're just explaining again, who I'm sending this letter to and what I write about.
对于他在这边的生活也是格外关心，而每一次收到朋友们的回信，都是他最开心的事儿了。
And I'm saying that as I wrote of my experiences, I got so many responses from people, and they were thanking me. And they were so grateful I was sharing all that I was experiencing, and they felt that they were right there with me in China. And most of these people haven't come to China, and for them, this was a glimpse into a whole world they never knew. And for some people that had certain political views of China, it's all of a sudden they had this humanitarian view and feeling like they got to know a whole family in China. They got to know Dr. Zhao, they got to know his wife Ai, and all the Junling who I worked with in the clinic, and they felt that they were there with me. Here he's saying American Chinese. He's saying that my friends in the States were starting to say that I was turning into a Chinese American. And here I'm saying sometimes I actually think I'm more Chinese than American. It's funny. I wasn't a very sophisticated answer here. I'm just saying, oh, because I love to eat Chinese food. And then I'm just explaining all the delicious things I like to eat. Oh my goodness. They're asking me like, well, what's your favorite thing to eat? And I don't know. It's all so good. I love pretty much all Chinese food. And they're saying, I had the joy of every day I got to have lunch with Dr. Zhao and his wife, and they're just showing Dr. Zhao at the park. We would go to the park and do our exercises, and he does these amazing park stunts. And here they're asking me again, what are some of my favorite Chinese dishes? And they have so many delicacies, and I really prefer more like the ordinary foods, like the eggs and tomatoes dish and the sweet potato noodles with greens, and it's all delicious. And here's my sisters, Junling and Li Jun. I worked with them every day in the herbal dispensary area, and they were phenomenal, really beautiful friends, and they helped me so much. And I taught them some English, and we had so much fun. So here they're interviewing Junling and Li Jun about some of my habits, and like here they're talking about when they would take me shopping, how like, well, what are some things she doesn't do? And they're just saying, they're asking, does she know how to bargain? Because that's something you need to do when you're shopping in China. And they're like, no, I do the bargaining for her. They're saying, our time in the clinic is so happy, and we all get along so well, and I love Dr. Zhao and his whole family and patients, and they really enjoyed having me there too, and his patients were always curious to see who I was and why I was there. So again, they're asking, oh, how is her Chinese so good, and why did she come all the way from Seattle here to Zhengzhou to this clinic with Dr. Zhao? And now they're saying, oh, and after these messages, you'll find out more. Again, they're being quite complimentary. Beautiful blue-eyed women.
西雅图美女郑州生活会有怎样的惊喜？东非讲故事正在为您讲述学按摩的杨庸。
欢迎回来。
Okay, and here we're back.
在郑州市南五里堡社区的一家中医诊所里，
They're calling me an American doctor. I'm not yet a doctor, but I'm apprenticing with Dr. Zhao. He was saying every day I was so happy and excited, which is so true. I just learned so much each day. And there's close to the end of my trip there, I wanted to thank everybody, and I was learning how to cook a few dishes. So Junling and Li Jun helped me we went out and bought all these veggies, and then was making a dinner for Dr. Zhao and his wife and Junling's family. And it was supposed to be me cooking, but in actuality, Junling and Li Jun, they cut up all the vegetables and got the pot ready and just putting it on the coal stove there, and then they're like, okay, Karen, here's the stir, and I just had to stir fry all the veggies and it was done. So they really did it all, but they all said, oh, you did great, Karen, it's so delicious. They're so generous with me. It's really, really wonderful, beautiful people. So here I'm talking about my dad. He's passed away a few years ago, and I was just saying that if he was here, I know he would be so happy and proud of me. And he was always such a big supporter of my interest in Chinese and Chinese medicine, and whatever my dreams are, he would just so support me. And now they're explaining, how was it that I came interested in Chinese? So this is a picture of when I got sick in the clinic. But, and I'm telling my story or the reporter is recounting my story. Now I'm telling it. In college, I got sick and had to leave on medical leave, and I saw lots of Western doctors, and it wasn't until a family friend recommended I see a Chinese doctor that I finally got some help. She was the first one that, after diagnosing me, said, you're going to get better. This is a letter I wrote to Dr. Zhao and Ai, thanking them for my amazing time with them. Here they're talking about my Chinese. They're asking, oh, when you speak Chinese, do you have to, they have this phrase in Chinese, 想了半天 means do you have to think half a day before saying, or do you just speak it? These are some pictures of Dr. Zhao. He came to the States. My Qigong grandmaster brought him in the summer of 2009, and that's how I met him. I was his interpreter with clients. And here I'm talking about Dr. Zhao and my experience working with him, and both in the States and here. I've just seen all different kinds of patients come to him, from young ones to old ones to all in between, of varying degrees of seriousness of illness, and each one leaving satisfied and well. It's really amazing. He's a true master. And here they're introducing Zhao Fang. Her English name is Nicole, and she is Dr. Zhao's daughter. Beautiful woman. They're very close. She teaches English, and she's also studied Chinese medicine and wrote a lot of papers with her father. She was such a great resource for me, and here she's explaining how we work together, because Dr. Zhao would write out all by hand. He doesn't like to use the computer, different patients' records and case studies, and then give them to me to read. It's hard enough to read, it's printed, but in his own handwriting was even more hard, so she helped me with translating those. So they like to watch me write in Chinese, and they're asking how I study, and then they're gonna look at my iPod. So now they're saying, I'm about to leave because my mom is about to turn 60, and I'm going back home to celebrate her birthday. And in China, one's 60th birthday is a really big deal. So because I was leaving, I had all these gifts given to me, and these two little girls. gave me this box of treasures. It says, 美国阿姨送给你, saying the American auntie, there's a box for you, a treasure chest. And these are my two friends. I met them walking back and forth from Dr. Zhao's clinic to my hotel room, and these two little dolls, they said they were to represent them, so when I came home I can always think of them. That's Ai sitting next to me.
在郑州这1个多月里，凯伦不仅学到了很多中医的知识，甚至连说中国话都带了不少河南腔呢。
Saying, I've learned all this Chinese medicine here, and then I also learned a little bit of Henan Hua, which is the Henan dialect. And I was just saying a few things like table and drawer, whereas in Mandarin it's 桌子. So it's a little similar. And then they followed me to the airport. So I'm flying to Inner Mongolia this day to visit my friend who's getting married. And we're at the airport and I have to say goodbye. And I say, I know it's not your custom, but I'm going to give you all hugs. And they kind of got used to me giving hugs every day because I just love to hug people. And Ayu's even like, where's my hug? My hug. There's Li Jing and Jin Ling. And Dr. Zhao. What an amazing man. He's such a dear friend and beautiful teacher and mentor. And look, it's slow motion. So Dr. Zhao saying, oh, I studied all right. So he's saying, oh, I cherish our relationship, our connection, and that she's going to come back and find me. So they're saying, she'll come back, she's going to come back and continue her studies with Dr. Zhao. And they wish me Godspeed with my studies and great success with Chinese medicine. And they wrote a beautiful poem. This golden-haired woman comes here to study Chinese. It's about coming here to study Chinese medicine across the oceans and learning all the different diagnoses of Chinese medicine and sharing the wisdom of the culture and of the medicine with the world. Thank you.